All right, so I'm gonna try this. Been saying, or I made a video on it saying, my plans for this channel and whatnot, and I want to do some vlogs on what it takes to run a business and grow a business, and some of the struggles that go along with it, not just all the good. So a little bit of what I'm going to talk about is the equipment I use. Well, I'll just tell you about the problem, and then maybe I'll make a video on kind of suggestions of what equipment to get and whatnot and what to watch out for. Um, you know, the cutter I have the other day, I had a 10 shirt order. That's 7 feet of heat transfer. The place I got it from, didn't put it on a roll, which makes it a little hanky to run, that long of material through a cutter. But it ate like 5 feet of it. So I had to overnight the vinyl, some new vinyl. It's a good cutter. Uh, I'll get into what kind of the specifications of that. It's just one of the limitations that I didn't necessarily know about and I don't run into very often because usually I have it on the roll. And it's meant to cut sign vinyl and heat transfer, but that thin material and small stuff it's just has trouble with. So it cost me a lot of money. This is just one thing you got to watch out for, by buying a little bit. This wasn't a cheap cutter, by any means. But when you get what you can afford and just learn its limitations and figure out how to work around it, we've gotten to the point where the amount that we do, we're going to get a Cameo just to do heat transfer and small stuff because it's more meant for it. It works, better. I never used to like those. I thought they were just a joke to the vinyl world for people who get into the business and buy these cheap craft cutters, but they have their place, and we're going to take full advantage of that. My computer, it has problems with, if it shuts off, sometimes it'll shut off randomly, or, if I turn it off, sometimes it won't come back on. And that's the issue I'm having today. I don't know how to fix it. I don't know what's wrong with it. I'm not a computer guy. And you don't have to be that computer smart to do this kind of a business. But every little setback like that takes time, which takes money out of your pocket. The more time you have to spend doing something, the less time, the less money you're going to make. You can only do so much in a day. So, when it comes to, just limits, I took most of the day to deal with the computer stuff. I could have been done with my day by now. Um, so that's just, and it's frustrating because I have, some big stuff in the works. It's taken 2 years to get to this point, but I've gotten some big stuff in the works. I have some equipment that I'd like to add. I don't necessarily see it happening this year because of some other setbacks. That's going to cost us some money, or and just getting stuff that we didn't know that we needed. Most people don't tell you everything. It's hard to tell you exactly what you're going to need for this business because everybody does it differently. Your needs, what your niche is, and stuff like that. Niche, whatever, is different. You might not need some of the software that I need. You probably do, because what I'm planning on getting, get to that in later videos, is going to save time and money, and it just simplifies stuff down to a few clicks of the button. Again, I don't know computers. I don't pretend to know computers. I don't have a desire to know computers. I just need it to work. I can go into CorelDRAW or Illustrator and do those same uh, live fonts and um, different effects, but they take me a long time. They take most people a long time. Even people that have been doing it for years, it still takes longer than a few clicks of the button. You can do it in a few seconds what takes you 20, 30 minutes. Even if it takes you 10 minutes, you knock it down to 10 seconds. Just bam, bam, I want this effect, this effect. You type your thing in, and there you go. Uh, and when I get to that software telling you about it, I'll do it when I get it, and I'll show you a little bit, but I'll probably just link or put a link in the description for the software and videos to watch, because I don't know enough about it. But what I want to do is show you what it's like to learn as you go. So you're learning with me. Um, you're always going to learn. It's been 2 years and I'm still learning a ton of stuff. I'm still figuring out stuff that I wish I had known 2 years ago, because it would have saved me a lot, saved me time and a lot of fucking money and a lot of stress. It's very stressful to get up, work from the time you wake up till wee hours of the night and do it all over again and really not make much money. If you're thinking about quitting your job to do something like this, you're getting away from the 40-hour work week to work 80 hours. You're going to work 80 to 100 hours a lot, depending on what you're doing and the time of year and stuff like that. You can, and you can make good money. You're buying yourself a Ferrari, so to speak, not your boss, if that makes sense. I don't mean in a literal sense, because I doubt you buy a Ferrari cutting decals, unless it's really old and really beat up. But you get what I mean. You're making a life for yourself, not somebody else, and that's what I wanted to do. My wife works out of the house, and I do this so that I can stay home without having to pay for a babysitter. I get paid to stay home and watch my kids. You can't beat that. You can, because, a babysitter would be nice some days. But you get what I mean. It allows you to, to an extent with this business, you can kind of work your schedule. You're going to have to put in a lot of hours. You're going to have to put in a lot of work. It's very frustrating at times with some of the used equipment and kind of lower end stuff that I didn't know wasn't going to work, and which I'm going to, like I said in later videos, tell you guys, okay, this is what I got. This is what it worked, it did this, but it didn't do this. This is why it didn't do this. Most of it comes down to software and simplifying things. I've used CorelDRAW and stuff. Mainly, I just use the software for the cutter. It works, kind of. There's limitations. So, I've spent a long time looking for the perfect software that will help this business. And pricing. You've really got to figure out pricing and really remember to put all your ducks in a row when you're giving somebody a price. You've got to factor in your time and your electricity and stuff like that. And I'm still not good about charging people for design fee and certain things, because I look at the price and go, man, I wouldn't pay that much. But you can't do that. So you're constantly going to learn. It's constantly going to be a learning process. You're constantly going to be frustrated for one thing or another. It's a very relaxing feeling to be your own boss. It's hard to explain what you're going to be frustrated and constantly stressed out about. But that's life. That's just any job you have, any business you have. There's things that are going to be stressful no matter what. There's no way to get around it. And if there is, please tell me below, because I've not figured it out. And I've worked for myself for most of my adult life. I'm 32. I started in when I was 15, you know, working for myself in different ways, doing different stuff, you know, from odd jobs to construction to hauling scrap. You know, I don't claim to know everything and being an entrepreneur. And if there's things like that that you want me to kind of elaborate on, or you know, I'll give you my experiences. Everything that I'm going to do with product reviews and my advice on what to get, what not to get is from personal experience. You know, I started this business with absolutely nothing. I I got my last paycheck from a job, and I bought $100 used cutter, and I used the rest and had to borrow some money to get software and material and actually fix that cutter. It was like a $4 part, and it cost me nine, almost $10 to have it shipped. Good, little bitty part, about size from first knuckle to the tip of your finger, big, and it kept it from cutting. It ran the XY axis. So I started with that, and I barely made enough to buy the next cutter before the first one crapped out. Um, and that was the $100 fix. And I was like, well, screw that, you know. So, you know, it's possible to start with absolutely no budget. You know, I just add things when I can. And so that's part of the reason over the last 2 years I really haven't made much personally. I mean, don't expect to take a paycheck for a while. You can do it right. You can pay yourself, pay your bills. You know, I make enough to pay the bills. That's all that really matters, right? Paying the bills. Because, you know, it takes a few years. You know, some people get lucky, you know, but most cases it takes a few years. You know, 2 years in, I'm starting to gain bigger clients and stuff, which I'll make a video on that after I talk to him this week. I've another client that when that gets situated, I'll show that in a video. And I'm really going to try and, you know, put my thoughts on video about the business and try and pick up the camera when I'm having a frustrating moment and explain it the best I can. And, you know, we're at almost 13 minutes in. It's probably a little long, but I'm still getting used to doing videos. So bear with me, you know, like, comment down below, you know, any advice you have, any things you want to see as far as making decals or business design, you know, for store windows or t-shirts, hats, koozies, you know, that's, you know, to an extent I have some of that in the works that I'm going to do videos on. I'm going to stretch it out, and uh we'll grow together. We'll learn some of this together. I've only made two hats, one koozie. I made one mouse pad, and that thing stunk. Uh, it just smells like hot rubber. I mean, you know, it wasn't like anything burnt or anything like that. It's a learning curve. You've got to, you know, temps of the material, but you've got to your heat press material, but you've got to figure out, you know. It's not like anything was burning or anything like that. It wasn't melting anything, but it was not enjoyable. We'll make some mirrors, like, you know, or not mirrors, picture frames. We'll kind of show you what I do. It's mostly my wife's side of the business. She does craft stuff, but I do mirrors and picture frames. Well, so that's more of the craft side, but I do trophies for Demolition Derby and stuff. So, um, and I'll kind of take you on my journey to learn as far as the marketing and advertising side of the business goes, because I'm not good at that, not at all. And we're gonna get better at it this year. There's no excuse with what we're getting not to just shoot to the moon. You know, if you've got the money to buy an all around setup, you know, instead of piecing it together, do so, because it's going to save you a lot of headache. But Again, let me know what you want to see in the comments below. Like the video, subscribe, and I promise the videos will get better and you'll learn something. I really want to try and make this so that you will learn from our videos, and I'll get better at making these. The more interest there is, the more better content you're going to see. So, it's just bear with us and enjoy the journey and learning how to run a vinyl decal business and see how it grows. You know, I'm really going to try. So thanks for following along this long. I'll say it one last time. Like the video or don't like it. Doesn't bother me. Comment down below any advice you have or any questions you have, and please click that subscribe button. Thanks, guys.